Well, joining me now is the author Grace Blakeley and best-selling author of The War on the West, Douglas Murray, over in the States. All right, Grace, look, as I've said repeatedly from the start of this, I have a lot of sympathy and agreement with the cause of Just Stop Oil. I think climate change is real. I think there are real problems facing this planet that we need to deal with, and so on. But these protests, the way they're going about them, they are not bringing people with them. They are alienating the very people they should be trying to persuade. I don't get it. The more they do it, the more they're infuriating the public. I don't see anyone saying, great, they've ruined my day, I must come and join them.
They've already achieved their aim, which is to get us to talk about it. You know, half the time that I come on shows, the lead item is something to do with the culture wars. It's, you know, something about trans rights or some bathroom issue or whatever. And we've just had the hottest week recorded in history. We've seen temperatures in Europe rise to heights that we've never seen in history. These people literally want to set the agenda. And that is what they're doing. And the thing that scares me the most, we've had a lot of debates in the past about free speech, about actually, you know, the state overstepping the mark. And when I see videos like that of people literally, you know, the arms of the state literally dragging people off the streets and saying, you're not allowed to be here, you should be doing this.
No, but they're allowed.
That's worrying to me.
No,
that strikes me as a threat to civil liberties.
No, but this is where the problem is, because I've got no problem with them exercising their right to free speech or peaceful protest. I don't think they have a right to ruin everyone's... Well, no, to ruin people's fun days out they've saved maybe all year to go and see at the cricket or the flower show or whatever it may be. I don't think ordinary people should have their days ruined in that way. Nor do I think they should be blocking roads like Vauxhall Bridge, which lead down to one of the busiest...
These people are aware of the fact...
Hang on, let me finish. That lead down to one of the busiest hospitals in London, if not the country. I don't think they should be stopping people going to and from hospitals. There's no legitimate reason to be doing that.
These people are aware of the fact that the main, segment of people who are dying from climate breakdown are extremely poor people who live in the global south. Places like the north of India, Pakistan, that area of the world where you've seen temperatures get up to, temperatures that scientists say it is not possible for human habitation.
So why aren't they protesting over there?
Well, because they live here, and we are the countries that have historically emitted the most carbon dioxide. It is the countries that are in the global south where poor people are dying.
Why do we never see them in China, the biggest polluters in the world?
We have the power in this country, in Europe, in America, in the most powerful countries in the world, in the richest countries in the world, to change things. China has actually done a lot already. 98% of the world's electric buses
China is by far the biggest polluter in the world, and you never see Greta Thunberg or any Just Stop Oil protesters in China.
How did we get rich?
And you know why? Because in China they get a very different treatment.
How did we get rich? It was from emitting carbon dioxide.
Let me go to Douglas. Douglas, I don't know about you. I just find them unbelievably irritating. And increasingly so. I think there are a bunch of attention seekers who love just getting in the papers, and that's fine. But why is the state and the police tolerating it in the way that we seem to be?
Well, I'd go slightly further than you, Piers. I mean, they are a sort of end-time apocalyptic cultist movement of a kind that Londoners and others have seen throughout history. People who go gibbering through the streets screaming about the imminence of the apocalypse. And I don't have much time for their views. And I think that their method of protest increasingly, of course, means that more and more members of the public don't have much time for their views. Freedom of speech, of course, everyone defends it. Freedom of protest, everyone defends it. But you do not have a right. I have strong views on a whole range of things. I don't have the right to go and sit in the middle of the M24 and tell everyone else to go, hang whilst I decide to tell them how they should go about their day or ruin their day. I'd be hauled off the motorway in a moment, and quite rightly so. The freedom to protest doesn't extend to disrupting the lives of everyday people trying to go about their business. And I just can't understand why they think that they're advancing their cause. I, at any rate, think that we still haven't had one even reasonable person emerge from the Just Stop Oil and et cetera movement. Every time you get one on, there is a gibbering wreck.
Well, also, they get very abusive very quickly and turn it all very personal, when, in fact, I try and explain, I don't think your methods are working, but I agree with a lot of the message. And so it's a campaign I think would get much more public support if they weren't just being so deliberately irritating to the public and obstructive to the public's ability to go about their day-to-day life. I mean, I think that incident today where you saw a guy who's in a car with apparently his pregnant partner, and they get, I think, hit by a lorry behind them. So there's a collision, a crash. And she gets out, this pregnant lady, and is remonstrating with the thing. And this guy clearly loses his rag. Now, the violence he then commits is unacceptable, and most people would agree with that. But I can certainly understand why he's reached a point of boiling rage. And you think, well, where are the police here? This protest has been going on for God knows how long that morning. Why have the police not intervened to stop this particular incident then happening?
It's because the guidance that the British police have had in recent years has consistently been to protect the protesters from the general public, rather than protecting the general public from having their lives repeatedly
Do you remember what happened when we had protests around the murder of Sarah Everard? Do you remember the police treatment of those women there?
Yeah,
I remember it very well.
absolutely.
In fact, and this continuously happens quite a lot. We have astonishingly now draconian rules about protest. And it was not that long ago, I remember, where, you know, a lot of the subjects and debates that we would have been having was about, are the left snowflakes? They want to shut everyone down. They want to cancel everyone. We, you know, want to protect free speech. What happened to the free speech defenders? The right to protest is genuinely at risk in this country.
No one is saying they can't protest.
It is at risk in this country.
No one's saying they can't protest.
If I could just say,
we
there
are
was a false
objecting
equivalence
to them causing literally, as in today with this incident, a car.
That was a false equivalence right there.
Incredibly
Grace,
small-minded when you say, oh, you know, people are trying to go about their day, and there are people basically literally standing here saying, all I want to do is highlight the fact that there are going to be millions, hundreds of millions of people who will die if we don't change course right now. And you say,
but look,
this person might not get to their...
strong views. We all have strong views on a wide range of subjects. As it happens, the policing of the Sarah Everard case was a classic case of the police getting it wrong. Everybody admits that. The commissioner had to step down after it. That was people protesting peacefully, as it happened during a period of lockdown. But the point is with the Just Stop Oil people is they do have a kind of protection, because it seems that the advice that the police have repeatedly given the leader of the police forces in Britain has been that because climate change has become such an obsession of so many people in Britain, you might lose public sympathy for the police if the police were seen to be cracking down too hard on climate
We've got to move on to the
protesters.
second part of this segment. We're going to move on, but all I would say is I think it's time the police got these protesters off busy streets.
Honestly, I think this just speaks to...
Otherwise, what you're going to see, I'm seeing a rising number of incidents of the public taking the law into their own hands, and we're going to end up in a very bad situation, which will be a lot worse than the video we saw today. I can guarantee it. Because if someone is stopping someone getting their wife may be dying and they're racing her to hospital, and they get stopped by Just Stop Oil protests, there's going to be a very unpleasant incident.
Most people on the right are actually very illiberal, and this is actually going to be interesting when we move on to this next segment, because everyone says we want a small state, but when it's the state stamping its boot on someone in the street, it's fine.
Allow me to move us on to the next part of the debate.
That is your
Thank you, Grace.